I learned about money playing Monopoly. I learned more about life playing Monopoly than I did in 4 years of college. I went to a really good school, the best schools in the world, U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. I came out a rich man, but it didn't teach me much about money. I was only a high-paid employee.
Yeah.
So then I joined the Marine Corps. Then I have two professions. I can fly for United Airlines, or I could sail for Standard Oil. I didn't want to do either because it wasn't challenging anymore. Mm-hmm. I think if there's a lesson is that I'm looking for the challenge, and some people are looking for security. They're two different people. They're extremely different people. I don't have a job. I've only had one job, and I never wanted a job after that because I had to be hungry. The Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a story of my rich dad who had no education, but he grew up in business for real. He took over the family business at 13. So he kind of grew up in the real world of money, where my rich dad was a PhD, poor, helpless, and desperate. Went to Stanford, Northwestern, a very smart guy and all this. But as you know, they teach stuff they don't know nothing about. When do I get in the most trouble? Is when I criticize going to school. Because to many people, it's their only hope and salvation. Education is religion to most people. Go to school. What do they teach you about money? Nothing. Get a job. You pay the highest taxes. Pay your taxes. I don't pay taxes. Get out of debt. Well, money is debt after 1971, if you know your history of money. Your house is not an asset. Your house is a liability. And why would I invest for the long term in the stock market when I can make my own assets? I don't need the stock market. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. The lesson is here, you got to choose your teachers wisely. When the market crashed in 2008, guess how much money I borrowed? $300 million. Because interest rates were dropping and real estate prices were going to the toilet. And when I walk into my banker, this is what Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about. Rich Dad, Poor Dad is about a financial statement. Income statement, balance sheet, statement of cash flow. It's a book on accounting. People don't even know it's a book on accounting. So I walked into my bank with my partner and had all this property that was floating to the surface. And I say, I'll take them off your hands. I just give me the money to buy the property. That's cojones.
$300 million.
Give me the money and I'll buy your properties for you.
That's crazy.
So it depends, and this is my whole thing. I'm now 700 million, almost $1 billion in debt. Because I don't pay any taxes. The more debt I have, the less tax I pay. And the average guy goes, how do you do that? Because you have bad teachers. Government wants you to do certain things. For example, when I donate money to, let's say, PBS, public broadcasting, I got a tax break. I donate money to church, I got a tax break. That's what taxes are. So they tell you, if you do this, we'll give you a tax break. So if I have 500 employees, I get a tax break. If I have real estate because I'm providing housing, I get a tax break. So I use debt to buy real estate. And the more real estate I buy, the less tax I pay.
Wow. So
that's why Dave Ramsey, his advice is good for that person. But I need debt to buy the real estate so I don't have to pay any taxes. Mm-hmm. Real estate's going down right now. But that's why I have LLCs and C corporations, because then they can't get me because I'm protected by a corporate entity. Mm-hmm. And besides, they're gonna bail me out. So they already bailed me out. They just said, how many employees do we have? So we calculated it up. So they're gonna give me 8 weeks of pay to pay my employees.
Really? Wow.
Free money.
So they'll bail you out. Wow.
I love this country. But you can't do that as an employee. Go to school, get a job. Your mindset is different than an employee's. That's Rich Dad and Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Poor Dad, employee. Rich Dad, entrepreneur. That was the choice I had to make. And so it's this whole thing that you got to choose your teachers wisely. That's why I wrote the book, Fake Money, Fake Teachers, Fake Assets. I don't touch that garbage that Wall Street puts out. I don't have a 401k. I don't have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. Doesn't mean you shouldn't, but I don't need them. They printed 4.5 trillion after 2008. They estimate they're going to print another 6 to 8 trillion, maybe 10 trillion.
Wow.
After 2020. At the same time, they're going to pay ZIRP, zero interest rate policy. So you're saving money while the Fed's printing money, and they're going to pay you no interest on it. Why would you save it? So that's all I say. And so that's why when Susie talks about saving and Dave talks about saving, I wouldn't do that. But for the average person, they should do that. So that's why choose your teachers wisely.
Right.
You just have to know money, that's all. And the other part is, look, for you young guys, the best teachers are not in colleges. The best teachers are on YouTube. The fake teachers are in colleges. They're telling you to get a job.
Right.
Up the corporate ladder. You know, Patrick David said it the best, and I love that guy. He says there's two kinds of leaders, wartime and peacetime. And a peacetime leader is a guy like my poor dad. He goes through all the right schools. He has all the pedigrees and credentials. He does all the right things. He climbs the corporate or the government ladder and all that. Well, a wartime leader goes to war. So Steve Jobs, a wartime leader. I'm a wartime leader. Difference is I went to war. I went to war twice on the front lines.
Yeah.
So what happens to entrepreneurs who go out and they get their ass handed to them and they survive? If you survive, you see the world differently. And so that's what happened to you when you get injured and all this.
Yeah.
You see a different world. Whereas some peacetime leader who's climbing the corporate ladder right now, they just lost their job. They're sucking their thumb. You know, this is the worst time for them. Yet for a wartime leader, it's the best of times.
Yeah.
If you're an entrepreneur right now, the world's open to you. If you're an employee, your world's dead to you. An entrepreneur can create their own success. I create my own assets. I create my own cash flow. Most people are employees. I made a fortune in 2008. 2020, I'm making more money and I'm paying less taxes. It doesn't mean I don't have problems, but I'm prepared for this. There's two kinds of discipline. There's internal or self-discipline, and then there's external discipline. So right now, if the world's kicking your butt, that's external discipline. And if you're self-disciplined, the world's kissing your butt right now. It's up to you. So that's why I love the Marine Corps. That's why I love going to military school and not a university, because I got my ass kicked every single frickin' day. First word I had to learn at the academy, mission. Mission is spiritual. What's your mission? And my mission has always been to serve people. So choose your teachers wisely. That's all. That's what I say, because I had to choose between my rich dad and my poor dad. My poor dad, PhD, poor, helpless, and desperate. And that's what he wanted me to do when I came back from Vietnam, was get my master's degree, get my PhD, and fly for the airlines. If I had done that, you know, my friends who flew for United, they're broke. You know why they're broke? Because Wall Street stole their pensions. I say to young people today, look at this pandemic, this coronavirus pandemic, you know, it's really tragic because it attacks the old guys. But even worse is the baby boomers had it the easiest of all generations. But now their pensions are gone, their 401ks are gone.
Yep.
Social Security is broke, Medicare is broke. So I say to younger people, this pandemic, this crisis is the best thing that ever happened to you. You think about that iPhone. You have more power in that iPhone than I had with my Sperry Univac mainframe computer. And then so when I meet people who say, oh, the economy is bad, I said, the only economy is between this ear and that ear. You know, there's an economy out here. But this is the best time for your generation because you're tech savvy. I'm not tech savvy. You know, this was made for you guys. The old guys like me are being cleaned out by the pandemic. The way is clear for you. Now, the old guys are gone. They're dead. So it's really a great time, but exactly as you were talking about, the bad times are leading to the best times.
That's it. Yeah.
If you can see it. As an entrepreneur, my biggest failure was that I was successful in my first venture. I was about 25 years old, and I started a nylon and Velcro surfer wallet business. And everybody said, "Well, why are you doing that?" I said, "Well, I don't know what else to do."